for the deaths occurring in the Sudan. The real commander of RSF is not Hemeti, it's William Ruto, because for a movement to succeed, it needs money. The money from gold is being cleaned through Kenya to buy arms, to go and kill women and children.
And you know my next question would be to substantiate these claims.
But I'm saying this guy was here, his movement was here the other day.
That's in the public
Listen, domain. No, I'm asking you. This man has international sanctions against him for genocide.
True.
He has been given a safe haven in Nairobi. He was here forming a government in KICC. That cannot happen without William Ruto. And I want to tell the international community.
But the claims of doing business...
No, everybody knows that he is selling gold through Nairobi. You may pretend not to know, or
I'm not pretending. Don't shoot the messenger.
Everybody knows.
I'm just trying to find out.
Everybody
made claims that the president is doing business.
Everybody knows that why William Ruto is having relations with Hemedi through Nairobi is for the gold business. And the gold business, the proceeds are buying arms to butcher children and women. And I want to ask the international community, I want to say I'm available to give evidence, and I want to tell the international community, it is pointless to levy sanctions against Hemeti. The person you need to levy sanctions against is William Ruto. And this thing of Sudan will be sorted out, because if there are sanctions against William Ruto, he'll stop entertaining Hemeti. Gold will stop being processed in Nairobi. There will be no money to buy arms to go and kill children and women. Number two.
How is this going?
Mmechukua vitambulisho, alafu mchukue kura, alafu siku ya uchaguzi mtakuwa na ile masimu yenu, mnapeperusha matangazo moja kwa moja kutoka polling station mpaka Nairobi. Tumekubaliana? Matu wewe! Mimi nikirudi nyumbani nisema mko sawa? Tuko pamoja. Utaamka mapema kufukuza kasongo. Utaamka saa ngapi? Hadi saa ngapi? Hadi saa ngapi? Bana mtachelewa. Bana mtachelewa. Dawa ya kufukuza kasongo ni kuamka saa 8. Si ndio? Harambee! Tumekubaliana. Mimi leo nitaoa mzuri. Nimefurahi sana kuona vile mmejitokeza. Mimi naona hii safari ya kasongo ya kwenda nyumbani ni mara moja. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki zaidi.
But his apology has not gone down well with the opposition. In a quick rejoinder, opposition parties, though welcoming the move by President Ruto, poked holes into Ruto's apology, claiming it's insincere.
While this shift in his tone is welcomed, we must remind the President of Kenya, William Ruto, that apologies, however well-intentioned, must be accompanied by tangible action if they are to carry any meaningful impact to the Kenyan people.
The opposition has called on the government to walk the talk by arresting those behind the abductions witnessed in the country, as well as those behind the recent killings.
President William Ruto and his regime should offer full reparation to the victims and families of those who've been affected by the extrajudicial killing. Thirdly, we insist that those who are still missing, those who are still nursing wounds, the apology is not enough. Actions speak louder.
It is our feeling that the apology is a ploy to blind Kenyans, especially by virtue of the fact that, sadly enough, it has come after an apology by a well-known dictator in East Africa.
On the Tanzania apology, the opposition claimed Kenyan foreign policy has taken a hit.
We further urge the President, as the chair of the East African community, to lead by example and call upon his counterparts, the President Samia Suluhu of Tanzania and President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni of Uganda, so that they respect the principles and the spirit of the EACC Treaty and to stop the escalation of repression of opposition leaders and dissenting voices across the region.
We have been put into shame through the communications by this government, and when he stands to give an apology on our behalf, we wonder two things. Does he speak on behalf of his interests, personal interests, that he does with the Eastern African community, or does he truly care for this country?
For some time now, opposition leaders have been on the government case, slamming President Ruto over what they have termed as dictatorial rule. Daniel Kariuki, KTN.
I have a question, and I don't know whether I'm the only one who thinks about it, because every time the president is on top of his cars, he keeps talking about kuunganisha na kuita wengine wa kabila. My question is, who told our president that our country is not united? Who told our president that the people of Kenya are not united? Maybe in his mind, we are not united, but the truth and the reality is that Kenya is united than before. Let us not create a fallacy that our country is not united. Our country is united. And then he keeps on promising and promising and promising. And I wonder because he only has 2 years to go home. Hii mambo yote ana promise, anatenga na kuweka miaka 2.
In that same meeting, Joe Biden then announced after that state dinner that Kenya had been made a major non-NATO ally. In other words, we became a defense partner of America in that elevated status. But what that simply means is that Kenya could now be the country that can be used to do dirty work on the continent. Make no mistake, Lynn, Americans may change presidents, but the American system of exploiting Africa never ever changes. Which is why then they tell Ruto that there are gonna be repercussions if you're the Chinese. When they thought that Lumumba is leaning towards the Soviets, yes, they took him out. When they thought that Kwame Nkrumah, first president of Ghana, he's leaning towards the Soviets, they took him out. When they thought that Agostinho Neto, the first president of Angola, was leaning towards the Soviets, they didn't take him out, but what they did, Lynn, is extremely reprehensible. It's unacceptable. The Americans and the Chinese and even the Russians are extremely good in massaging the egos of Africa's presidents. They understand that the big man syndrome is big in Africa. Wow. So they are very good in feeding that. They fed Ruto's ego. They played into the big man syndrome, made him feel like he's the man. But all that they had done to Mobutu Sese Seko and so many other African presidents. Yeah. But then when they stopped being valuable to them, they simply dumped them. So in this scenario, the Trump administration simply realized that as of now, Kenya is not fitting into our picture neatly like we want it. President William Ruto, when you came to power, Africans celebrated you across the board because you were speaking the Pan-African language. And Africa is hungry for such leadership. But lo and behold, a few weeks later, a few months later, you are singing a different tune. Africans thought that they would see in you the mangoes of Pan-Africanism, but instead, they have seen the lemons of somebody who behaves like a puppet, somebody who dances to the tune of the highest bidder. That is something that has to stop.
Woka haha na mbeca iria ũrarĩa nĩ mbeca ciagĩrĩirwo nĩ gũtwarĩra andũ a Elgeyo Marakwet damu bilioni 3 nĩgetha ciana cia Ngai inyue maĩ, nĩgetha ciana cia Ngai ihote kũrĩma, nĩguo ciekĩrwo mũhuko wa mũndũ woka koroga makanitha atĩ ndakũnengera milioni 2 ũke haha tũinagĩre haleluya. Baba woe igana rĩakwa thithinĩire handũ ha milioni igĩtwo, handũ ha milioni ĩtigathinĩtie mũndũ na haki yake ya maica bũrũri ũyũ. Tũtiga kwaranĩria maheni. Hota gũka utohorere mbeca cia kuiya neguo ucoke otwire ati kuria tuguthie ukuite ibuku ria Ngai we werekeire jarahana mutiaya nywana ke niguo ndiramwira no gukorwo mutiui no ni mukamenya muthenya umwe twaga gwika maundu maria magirire na inyua atongoria mutigetigire anake aya ni ciana citu ni andu aitu mere ima.
Yes, Derek.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I have to address your issues. Yes, please.
Meanwhile, I'll just ask for one more, just to reply to what you were saying.
Yes, but briefly.
About the abduction
within
issue.
30 minutes, yeah.
I have my friend Rono.
Yes.
I know many of you know Rono. Rono was abducted on the 7th of October last year. In clear, open sight, cameras were recording, and it was state operatives. You have a report, just take your report, I think it was by Francis Odi, particularly Citizen TV.
Yes.
You have a report, clearly he was abducted by state operatives. Or did he self-abduct himself? No. Let's talk about the issue of SHA. Just yesterday, I have a friend, I just received a text here from Gladys, my friend. Gladys says she took her mother to Guru Nanak yesterday. She wanted to use SHA. SHA could not work. She had to pay. The only way to access health care was through paying. Just TIFA made a recent poll last week. 46% of Kenyans cannot identify a single infrastructure project that this government has done. And someone here is telling us about fiber imekuwa how many kilometers. Clearly, 75% of Kenyans do not think the government is doing the right thing. And you see, want to tell us that fiber is working, fiber imekuwa from where? No. But however, you see, last year, and this is
your final point?
This is, yes.
Yeah, okay, because I need to go to
condole the family of Ngugi wa Thiong'o. You see, I read The River Between, and it's one of the books that made me, I can proudly say so. And you see, there's a part where he's talking about Kabonyi telling Wayaki that unless we stand and fight the white man, there is no way we shall get rid of them. You see, what Kabonyi was actually trying to say in that statement is the need for a conservative, antagonist, and traditionalist approach when handling issues of a nation.
Okay.
And clearly, those are the things that we need today. Because, you know, as Mark Twain said it, history does not repeat itself. It refines itself. Today, we find ourselves in a situation whereby the social contract that we gave the president has actually failed. And that's why we continue to see all this sloganeering. When you hear people saying Ruto must go, the other day I was in Nyayo Stadium, and we were in a stadium fully packed, 30,000 people plus more, who were clearly saying Ruto must go in his face. If we say today people saying Wantam, if we see people saying all these things, clearly the social contract is in jeopardy. The president must understand. And still, as we have 2 years and 2 months to the election, and 1 month, I think, right now to the election, it is very important to stop all these knee-jerk reactions and stop abductions, make it clear that corruption must stop, this arrogance must stop, the breach of public trust must stop, and clearly non-performance by key cabinet secretaries, particularly Minister for Interior. We will not have all these murders and abductions continuing, and you continue talking about UDA and wearing designer Gucci watches and shirts. Clearly, we don't want that.
Much appreciated.
Kama ingekuwa isipokuwa ni sisi ni watu wa kufuata sheria. Kesho tungesema otoko enda Sugoi. Hapa ni kweli.
Now what you're doing now, without forgetting, is intimidation, killing people, hiding people. We have not forgotten that is just 1 year. We are about to do the memorial service for the over 100 Gen Zs that passed on last year. You have not given us accountability of where those Gen Zs are. You've not told their family where their bodies were dumped. And now you've even started killing their leaders. We have seen Mheshimiwa Koimburi. We are here with Mheshimiwa Jango. We are here with Mheshimiwa Nongari. And we have seen his state. He's not okay. His wife has to stay by his bed. Kumpindua. He's scared. We are being told in this hospital there are funny characters moving around. Mulishindwa kumuua kule kwa kiwanja, sasa mnataka kuja kumalizia hapa kwa hospitali. How many more lives do you want? How many more people do you want to kill? How many? And how many of us can you kill to kill the movement? The movement of Wantam is not a Damaris thing. It is a thing of the nation. It is the people of Kiamba. It is the people of Kiambu. It's the people of this nation. It is not a Mount Kenya thing. Wantam is a national movement. And it is a movement that you cannot kill unless you kill 50 million Kenyans.